Welcome to a new Daily Top Ask Reddit video. Today's topic:
if you could place any object on the surface of Mars, purely to confuse NASA scientists, what would it be? Taking notes. Holy shit, it's the real NASA. Check the profile. NASA at its core is a bunch of nerds. Did you expect them not to be on here? Soviet-era spacesuit with a skeleton. With the name tag, Rasputin. Or possibly, Hoffa. A fully crewed, by preserved corpses, skeletons of course, Viking longship. Musical notes were whalers on the moon. Musical notes. We carry a harpoon, but there ain't no whales, so we tell tall tales and sing our whaling tune. A big map of Earth with several points of interest marked on it. But it's got to be random ass places. E.g., Gary, Indiana is circled 3 times with big stars around it. Gary, Indiana isn't just a random place. That is where the portal to hell will open. And an extra continent, with a big X through it. Atlantis. That design we all drew in middle school. Core memories unlocked *, thanks, I'm gonna go draw it now. Sleeper agent activated. I'm a geologist, and I can confirm that just placing the wrong type of rock would fuck up science for like 30 years. I often pick up rocks that I know only occur in specific areas and leave them somewhere that would be naturally impossible in the hope that it will break a geochemist's mind when they find it. Ha ha. I work at an airport and we have to collect samples of bird strikes on aircraft to send in for identification and tracking to the Smithsonian Ornithology Department. I really want to acquire some emperor penguin feathers for submission just to see what would happen. For reference, I live in the Northeast. I'm 80% sure that a zoo would be willing to give you some spare penguin feathers if you ask. There's always a bunch lying around. A monolith with a QR code to scan and rickroll. Liquid water in a mason jar. Scientists have found evidence of a 2012 barn wedding on Mars. Statue of Liberty half buried in the ground. You maniac. Damn you all to hell. A page from a Martian newspaper, pondering the possibility that there might be life on Earth. The Terns have tabled. A white plastic lawn chair. With a slight chip in one of the legs so they'd be scared to sit down. Except they could sit down. Because the gravity of Mars is much less than Earth's. Which means we should send all of our chipped lawn chairs to Mars so that they will become functional again. A whole ass Dollar General. Dollar Generals exist in the most random rural places already that I'd be like, okay, this makes sense. Usually in groups of 2 or 3 in towns with a population of 382. The missing pieces of the Rosetta Stone. Complete with a 4th as yet unknown language. Or just wingdings. That would do it well. A picnic basket. Blanket. Food laid out with a note. Honey, I forgot the potato salad. I'll be back in 20 minutes, and for good measure, a 1953 Buick. To complete the scene, footprints that walk away and just disappear about 50 yards away. I want to read that story, Mr. Bradbury. It does read like a Bradbury story. I'm gonna have to go read The Illustrated Man again. I like your storytelling. Thanks. Matt Damon. Watched this yesterday. Brilliant film. Fuck you, Mars. The book is even better. An exact copy of the Mars rover, or whatever they used to discover it. That's actually a great premise for a sci-fi horror movie. The rover rolls up to the Mars base and they're about to let it in when they glance at the monitor. And realize the real rover is a mile away. Beep boop, the doppelganger says. Time to collect samples. Watch the movie Moon, 2009, sometime if you haven't yet. That's probably one of the better mind *CKS. I'd have a legit existential crisis trying to figure that out. Dinosaur remains holding a Bible. Twist. The Bible is Guadalupana edition. I mean, of course, a Mars bar wrapper. Like a giant one covering the entire planet under a slight layer of dirt and dust, or just the one regular size thing. Regular size would be funny. Imagine when it would leak and it would get on the news. Singular Mars bar found on Mars. An Egyptian obelisk. Inscribed with mathematics relating to something like a spatial fold engine or warp drive. You could confuse the scientists by developing mathematics related to a spatial fold engine or warp drive. I could. But unfortunately I'm not great at the tensor calculus required yet. Simple. Velociraptor skeletons in a space shuttle. One of them holding a Bible, Sir a Velocipaster. Another wearing giant gold chains, a clock medallion and an Adidas tracksuit. A Velociraptor. The skeleton of Hitler. I've had it for decades. Why stop there? Leave a fully functional Nazi base in a random cave. Something like these were my first thought too, but I think it would encourage the neos too much. A bad dragon dildo. There it is. Right where you left it. Wacky inflatable tube man on the highest peak. Hi, I'm Al Harrington from Al Harrington's Wacky Waving Inflatable Flailing Arm Tube Man Incorporation, here to let you know we have an overstock of wacky waving inflatable flailing arm tube mans and need to clear 'em out now and passing the savings onto you. A hat and t-shirt reading, 1992 Super Bowl champion Buffalo Bills. Man, I knew they shipped those things far off to less developed areas. But I had no idea they were going to those lengths. The fossilized remains of non-human biped with a sign that says, "No more nuclear testing." Non-human biped a chicken? Only if it's plucked. A partially vaporized radioactive manhole cover. ETA. Thanks, kind internet strangers, for the awards. I like to think that thing is still screaming at the space to this day. Further than any of our other probes even went. I like to think that is our civilization's greatest yeet.